You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. This time, face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. That family verse again, love and family. You are the face of God. Love, sorry. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love.
Welcome. It's awesome that you came today. We're glad you're here, whether you're online with us starting usually on Wednesday, or whether you actually come in person, which is an awesome thing too. I'm delighted that you're here and part of our family, because you truly are the face of God. Will you all join me in our statement of faith? There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
I invite you to join me in a centering prayer. So let's first relax. Allow our chairs to support us. Allow our feet to be in contact with the floor. Our floor is in contact with dear Mother Earth, and so are we. We allow ourselves to just relax, to let go of all the cares and worries of this week, and remember all the gratitude and all of the events that we have felt gratitude for. We allow ourselves to relax and breathe even deeper. We now can go to our very special place where we are one with the One. Let us go there. It could be by the sea. It could be by a lake. It could be at the top of a mountain. Or it could be in a garden. Wherever your special place is, let us go there now. And let us be comfortable there in a very comfortable position and relax. When we're in this relaxed position, let us notice all the sounds that we hear around us. Are there birds? Are there insects? Are there waves? Are there splashes? Notice even the littlest things. And allow your heart to become open and relax and receive those things. We realize that we are filled with love. We're filled with love for ourselves, our family, and we embrace them. Further, we think about our neighbors, people in the communities that we're a part of. We embrace those and allow the love in our hearts to extend to those. We allow this love we feel to go even further. Goes out into the nation where many will receive this love. As we come back to this place and this time, we're filled with gratitude that we have loved and we have been loved, and we are so grateful. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.
Well, this week's theme is about creating what we see, what we dream of, those kinds of things. And this is a song from The Greatest Showman. It talks about that. Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. 1,000,000 dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. 1,000,000 dreams is all it's gonna take. 1,000,000 dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. 1,000,000 dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. 1,000,000 dreams is all it's gonna take. 1,000,000 dreams for the world we're gonna make, however big however small. Let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Thank you, Maylin. Perfect song. So, what is it that's in your mind as your pillow and your head connect? And you are imagining, intending, creating what? You know, our third principle, got my hand going over here, even if I don't have it up so you can see it, is that we create our world with our thoughts. And I know that you won't be surprised to know that I don't have a clue what you're thinking. You don't have a clue what I'm thinking. But when we stop and look at our own thoughts, and then we look at our lives the way it is right now, we created it. I created it. You create your life. And there's a pesky part about it. Because if you don't like the way your life is right now, you created it. I find it fascinating that, I don't even remember when the set team met. I think it was in May or June when we picked this series. And then I'm at Columbine, and they're masterminding, which is creating intention. And then we have the New Thought ministers all creating intention. And Carrie's interested in the power of intention. Intention is our thoughts. What are you intending? Now, Lori's going to give you an opportunity to make a vision board downstairs. What do you see? What do you want to bring into being in your world? And then the rest of the clues come from, in this case, Eric Butterworth's The Creative Life. There are many, 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 many books about intention. The power of positive thought. I could list on and on and on. The trick becomes, do you use this tool? Every time you notice your thoughts and they're on something that you don't want, change your thought. That's what it is. Change your thought. If that's not what you want to create, some of you are worrywarts. That is not part of my heritage. I didn't grow up that way. Despite all my other, quote, handicaps, negative thinking wasn't part of my mother's approach to the world. So it's pretty easy for me to think positive thoughts. And I know that that's not true for all of you. And yet the trick becomes to notice when you have a negative thought in your head, any negative thought, And then choosing, because we all have that power of choice, choosing to change your thought. So instead of thinking this, I now think this. So, I mean, I have a whole talk that didn't start this way, but the song Maylin was singing reminded me that, you know, I don't know how long it takes you to fall asleep at night, but what's on your mind when you're falling asleep at night? What's on your mind in the morning, that space between consciousness and movement? I love that time of morning, but what comes to your mind? You know, most of us are not busy planning new cars anymore. We're not planning the great love of our life or any of that kind of thing. But what are you thinking about? And do you want that in your life? And if not, how do you change it? So this particular, we're on days 5 and 6 out of the creation story. And it starts with Genesis 20, 26, 20, 26, and 28 that are kind of condensed in Butterworth's language to get the whole thought into a smaller thought process, which says, "Then God said, 'Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth, across the face of the firmament of the heavens.'" So Butterworth quotes a well-known authority in Hebrew and Greek, a man named Farrar Fenton, whom I don't know, probably you don't know either. But he said that God created that which produced the earth. I'm guessing that that's a concept that we could all buy into. Creative consciousness, God thought, divine intelligence created the thought that said, let's have a big bang. Let's have an earth, and let's see what we can do with it. You know, that's not a stretch for me. And we know that when people take the creation story limited, it produces interesting things like the Noah's Ark in northern Kentucky. But that's not what we're talking about when we're talking about the Bible. So Fenton goes on to say, in other words, in the beginning, God created the idea of earth. Creative thought, spiritual thought, creates things. Manifest in your life and in Doris's life and in everyone's life. The people who are happy with what their thoughts create and the ones who are not so happy with what their thoughts create. So the idea of the universe and all that came forth from it was created. An idea in, collectively speaking, our minds created that. And that allows us to look at our own creative process. So the 5th day of creation represents the process evolving. Waters, you know, all the water, refers to the unexpressed capacities of our minds, our potential, realized or not realized. Unrealized potential is the greatest loss to our earth of anything that we have. Unrealized potential is because you, me, and everybody else don't really believe that they can, and we all have a different can at the end of that blank. So, our potentiality, the living creatures are the dynamic thoughts of our mind. So, swarming, and you see fish swarming in the PowerPoint that Ken chose for us, or birds in flocks as they shift and fly. Not geese, they're in formation, but that shifting, flocking moment, swarming, is the concept that Butterworth is using for this particular part of the creation story. Swarming indicates the supportive activity of the mind, the creative, when we are co-creating together. Each and every one of you in this room are the leaders of Unity on the Avenue. And how we shift together, whether something scatters us and we fly apart, whether we come back together, is part of what we get to create as a community. Water also refers to spiritual energy. Since none of us in this room is 20, we know some days we have more energy than we have other days. But when we bring our collective energy together, I have to tell you that I have more energy being with you than I do sitting alone in my condo. I am energized by your presence. I am energized by our conversations, by our connectivity, whether it's on texting or whether it's on a phone call or comes in an email. We energize, or we have the potential to energize each other. And unfortunately, we also have the potentiality of de-energizing each other. That can happen in the moments of our lives, which we tend to share in the same way that we share the yes moments of our life. So being aware of the energy that we bring to a situation, that swarming of our community, is an important aspect of what we do. Now, the United States has been swarming in negative energy for quite a while, and in this particular moment, it's not swarming in negative energy. It's swarming in their words like joy, potential, possibility, what we can create together. That creates a different energy. So, your thoughts, your ideas, your energy are part of unity language, infinite mind, collective mind, race consciousness. Charles Fillmore talked about race consciousness, which can be negative, can bring us down, or it can create positive energy that helps us be alive, helps us come together, helps us get things done. So what are you creating? Your thoughts, your ideas, infinite energy everywhere present is the highest frequency of energy in which all things exist as complete. When we can see the complete picture of what we want to create, we are bringing all of that collective energy to bear on making it so. So when we have friends, family who need healing, our job is not to go, God, fix them. Our job is to know them as whole and complete energy, perfectly formed, perfectly healing, whether it requires surgery, whatever it requires. That energy is present as perfection, and if we can see that, we can be that. That's our job. So the swarming process we've talked about, we have to be patient. That's a spiritual power that we don't talk about so often, but we have to be patient. We have to have faith that these ideas are coming in process, are coming into being, that they will become clear individual thoughts that can be acted on, that the answers are in our consciousness and will come. The swarming that we observe in nature can also be revealed as insights into the dynamics of group participation. Groups of people have a collective energy, a group soul, to which each person contributes to and receives energy. So be part of creating positive energy for the group that we call Unity on the Avenue. Answers often comes in ways that you don't think they're going to come. I have an example I'd like to share with you back from my New Thought Unity days. So New Thought Unity had a campus of 3 buildings, a sanctuary that held 450 people, the next building, which had been a nursing home before they bought it, became our youth and family ministry building because there were more kids than fit in the basement of the sanctuary building. And so they purchased that building, which Pat Williamson and I created the Barker Meditation Garden with labyrinth behind that and gazebos and all sorts of beautiful things. And then the third building was what was called the Manse for a long time. And it was a combination of rented out, and all the guests that we had that came would stay on the 3rd floor, which was an apartment with a kitchen and a bathroom, 2 bedrooms, and a living room. I mean, it was a lovely apartment up there on the 3rd floor. So the question became, after a few years when the revenue was down, maybe we should sell the Manse. Maybe we should get rid of that. And the board met in the Manse, and we had a process of discernment. Now, one of the people on the board was a realtor, and she was in favor of selling the Manse. You know, that big of a 3-story, quote, house with 2-car garage in that neighborhood was a valuable piece of property. And so her argument at board meetings was to sell the Manse. So we met in the Manse, and we're going through a prayer process that's called discernment. And we got to the part of what answer is quote, God, the universe, your creative mind giving you now. From, and I have her name on this piece of paper because it's one I remember clearly, as opposed to half the names in my head go flying. But her answer, as she came out of meditation, was, we're supposed to turn this building into a spiritual practice center. From the realtor, who knew we were supposed to sell this building and then take the money. So the board worked on that. They created all kinds of ideas to see where that would take us. Ultimately, we used the spiritual center and rented rooms in it to massage therapists, to we had a couple of counselors, therapists, thank you. A couple of therapists in there. We got to keep the 3rd floor apartment for our guests that we had frequently, from musicians to speakers to whatever, coming in. And the 1st floor we actually used for small classes because it was intimate and lovely with a fireplace and all that stuff. That can happen when you're open to a fresh creative idea. And then you use a process that some of you may know that's called mind mapping. So if you don't know what a mind map is, you have an idea. Linda's idea of creating a spiritual practice center. So that sort of goes in a circle in the middle of your piece of paper. And then you draw lines out all the way around it. And whatever ideas that come, you put them up there and you talk about them and you explore them and you see how that can come into being. And it created a spiritual practice center. So the whole time that I was there, that building was rented out as a spiritual practice center. The youth and family building was full, and the sanctuary was kind of full. 450 seats is a lot sometimes. So that clustering, swarming of ideas is what happens in a collective, positive environment. An idea, a plan, discrimination, good judgment, and using your will, the persistence to follow through and do the hard work that go with ideas. And then the most important part is you have to trust the process. How is that going to work? So that's swarming in the waters. So the sixth day of creation is Genesis 26 and 28. Then God said, let us, have you ever wondered about that plural pronoun? Hold that thought. Let us make man, we know that should at least be humans, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, over cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. Verse 27, male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. That's the one we've lived with. Those are the verses that created patriarchy, that put man in charge of everything and women being subservient to men. So in my exploration, I found on Bible Gateway a different translation of the Bible. It's called The Voice. And I would like to read the same verses to you from The Voice. And imagine if that would have created a different world. Now let us conceive of a new creation. Humanity, made in our image, fashioned according to our likeness, and let us grant them authority over all the earth, the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the domesticated animals, and the small creeping creatures on the earth. So they did just that. They created humanity. In their image, created them male and female. Instead of the King James translation of the Bible, which created a Bible that many of us can barely stand to use, imagine if it would have been, they created a new creation, humanity. No distinctions. All humans. When you think about that world, I'm guessing that you see a different world than the one we have lived through. The power of words, the power of thought to make a difference in our lives. So back to Butterworth, male and female energy represent male thoughts, female feelings. For the sake of that metaphor, we'll go with that for right now. So male are thinking creatures, females are feeling creatures, and the words themselves encompass the process of creation that begin with an idea and then evolve to fruition through evolution. A different world. They establish man as the eternal idea in infinite mind with the ultimate destiny to be the likeness of that idea. The phrase God created man is a metaphor dealing with the complete spiritual prototype of the creature goal. They declare clearly that male-female energy represents thoughts and feelings, and that is the spiritual nature of the created. They outline the necessary steps of thought and feeling coming together. It's not enough to think about it. It's not enough to have the details, the facts. We also need the feelings that generate into reality those thoughts. So we see a clear statement of the dominion of a spiritual being. It's important to note that we're speaking of dominion here not as defined by power, as so many people do, but rather speaking of the dominion as creative dominion of our superconsciousness, the reality of each person. Webster also defines dominion as supreme authority and absolute ownership. The image in which you are created is your true self-image, which only you can express. Remember, there are no duplicates in creation. Every snowflake, every blade of grass, every grain of sand has a unique design. And that's true of all of us. There aren't any duplicates in this room. There aren't two Dorises or two Loris or two Ellens. We're each unique. We each have unique gifts. And when we each bring our unique gift together, we can create anything, guys. It doesn't matter how many of us are in this room. We have the creative energy, the creative power to create what we want to create. The image in which you are created is your own self-image, which only you can express, just as there are no duplicates in nature. So, you are a divine original. A divine original. Sort of breathe into that concept. I'm a divine original. This is your spiritual destiny. Having this understanding that the creative process never duplicates itself, eliminates all covetousness and competition. I'm so jealous of Joan. She is so organized. I wish I could be like Joan. Baloney. I wish I were as spiritual and positive as Penny is. I'm not. Do you see what I mean? Oh my God, I wish I had long, straight hair like Oprah Winfrey. If I had spent all that money on my hair, I could have hair that looked like Oprah Winfrey. Do you see, in a sense, if we don't laugh at ourselves for some of our human behaviors that we have been practicing now for 50 or 60 years, I won't go any higher than that. You know, who's the genuine you? You know, maybe when you were 3 or 4, that little boy or girl twirling around the yard, bouncing balls, or jumping rope, or playing with dolls, or whatever you were doing. What did that potential have? That maybe along the way you came to believe you couldn't possibly attain. I could never do that. If you choose to focus on your own potential, your own passions, your own desires, not one Doris tells you, forget that. I don't have any insight into who you are. But when you focus on your desires and notice the thoughts that come up when you focus on those desires, and then change those thoughts, they haven't helped you. You've been thinking them for a long time. Give them up. It's possible. You can be it, do it, become it, create it, whatever it is that is in your heart and in your mind. Move through the steps of creation. So, Ken has a slide for you because someone asked me, could you just give us the steps in order? Sure, I can. So there's your 6 steps. Let there be light. That's your creative idea. Whatever pops into your head. What if I fill in the blank? What if we fill in the blank? Once you've got a creative idea, the circle in the middle of your mind map, let there be firmament. Butterworth calls that faith. You have to be able to believe that it's possible. If your creative idea is you're going to the moon, you better go to work because the astronauts have to do a lot that you may not have done yet. But they had old people go into space. What's possible? Have faith. Let the land appear. That's the image of your goal. If you can't see it in your own mind, it's probably not going to happen. 4, let there be 2 great lights. The greater light, the sun, which is understanding, and the lesser light, the moon, which is willingness. And that's a harder step than you believe. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to make it come into being. That's where all the work comes in. That comes to the point where you go, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. So let the light come in, willingness, and then let the water swarm your potential, all of your ideas. Write it down. It may not be, quote, as dumb as you think it is. Well, that would never work. Get rid of that thought. And then let there be humans. That's bringing your thoughts and feelings to the situation, whatever your idea is. And then Butterworth gives us an exercise, which I will share with you. I'm going to read a line, switch slides. I'm going to read a line, and then I would like you to repeat it after me. I am life, vibrating as perfect health in every cell, organ, and function of my body. Together. I am life, vibrating as perfect health in every cell, organ, and function of my body. I am the radiant light of pure knowing. I am the radiant light of pure knowing. I am established in the divine flow of substance. I am established in the divine flow of substance. I am protected. I live with the light of the divine in me. I am protected. I live with the light of the divine in me. I am love, and I am secure in the energy of true relationships. I am love, and I am secure in the energy of true relationships. So I invite you to take a breath. Close your eyes. Perhaps uncross your legs and put your feet on the floor. And take another deep breath. I have the energy to make everything that is mine to do come into being. we have the collective energy to do all of those things that are ours to do. To bless each and every one of us, to bless our community, and even to bless this world. One power, one presence, inhabiting each of us. Knowing that we have health. Knowing that in this very moment we are healing. Knowing that we are taking the steps to make those words true. One power, one presence, one divine energy, encapsulated in each of us. We reach out in love to everyone who is attracted to this congregation. We hold them in our heart, in our thoughts. Each of us sees that we have a balanced income statement. Each one of us sees that as this summer comes to a close and everyone returns from their vacations, from their hikes in the mountains, from their trips to the sea, we see that this congregation is complete. No matter how many we count. We see each one's personal lives fulfilled and filled with love. We don't limit what love looks like. We simply are open to loving and being loved. We are whole, perfect, and complete. First of all, it is essential that we know it for ourselves. Secondly, we know that for all that we personally deeply care about. Despite appearances, we know the truth. And we have the faith to do the work that is necessary to bring that into being. See it in your mind's eye. You can't possibly put it on a vision board if you don't have a vision of it inside of you, engraved in your very beingness. There is no limit to the power of manifestation. But there is and has been limits on our ability to see it, our ability to know it. And so we choose in this moment to release the limits, sending them back into the ethers from which they came. We see and know our power, our collective wisdom, and the truth of who we each are. Holding this together, we know that it is so. Amen.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia. We are one now, 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 we are one now.
While we're holding all the visions, we hold a vision of all the monetary good that we need expressed in the way that we need to have it. You all know what that is. There isn't anyone in the room who needs to have a lecture on what is needed. So we accept and receive all of the wonderful generosity that you have. And I invite you to join with me in our offertory affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, we have none of our babies in the room to bless, but we bless them where they are. We bless each baby inside each of you, knowing that it is being renewed, encouraged, and, quote, born again. Let's bless our children everywhere in this world. You might want to focus some of it on the Palestinian children, or you might want to focus some of it on the African children, wherever is called to you to bless in this moment. So, children, you are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. And we know that the light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world, and it becomes even more wonderful